All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Off the Rails, hosted by Trolley Train and CrossFit Tailors. This is a weird camera angle, and it's going to make a lot of sense here in just a second. We have a guest today, and Cameron. I will have her introduce for us.
Ooh, this is Amy Robinson. Uh, she is currently we would say, on our staff as kind of an office manager for us, helping with a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we've talked about in some previous episodes, and also helps coach, or should we say tame, our kids' classes, ring our kids' classes. So has kind of stepped in the last year and helped starting doing a lot of things. But yeah, this is Amy.
Hello.
Do you want me to start with my question? I do have a good question.
Questions?
Yeah. My first main question is, what took you
I know this
so
question.
long to do CrossFit? Right, we were neighbors for a while, and then we started doing a lot of business stuff for like trying to market and things and do co-events and whatnot with 13 Stripes. So we knew each other for a while. Not even necessarily. It doesn't have to be you. I mean, you could talk about you, but like I think everyone over there was like afraid of CrossFit, or maybe we were like these weird people that was just like fitness and then came and drank beer.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like everyone gave y'all crap for the idea of CrossFit because no one knew what actually happened behind those doors. It was just like, oh, they pick up stuff and they put it down. Like,
Right.
okay. I
Okay.
think that was like the illusion.
Okay. So it was like this secretive thing
I guess
that
you could
like
say like a lack of information, really, but it was like, oh, those guys are crazy.
okay. So it's like that classic like perspective of CrossFit without doing it, and then it was like we don't want to do that.
Yeah. But I think for me, it took so long to get involved with it because, one, we just opened the brewery in 2017. We opened it after multiple years of construction and chaos. In all of that chaos, got pregnant with a surprise fourth child, and then had her went through some postpartum stuff, and then we had just pure chaos of running the company. And then I worked full time at it while trying to keep four children alive.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's more of like, I don't have time for that.
So um what broke the like what got you to finally do it? Or to come try? What got you to try? Okay.
My husband. So he signed up. You did your BOGO, get 1 month, get one free.
Yeah.
He came home one day from work and he was like, I signed you up. I was like, well, that's funny. And he's like, no, I already paid for it. Like, you have to do it because Cam's not going to give us our money back. I was like, all right, I'll go. Went, like, I still remember the first day was like, I don't even know what the workout was, but I remember I did not eat because that was the thing. I used to not eat at all. And I tried to keep pace with Becca and I about blacked out. Like, I heard that was the only time in my life I've ever heard that ringing in my ears. I like started like dizzy. I had to hold onto the wall, slowly slide down. And I remember you coming over to me and being like, did you eat something? I was like, no, I didn't. And so you just like threw a Cliff Bar at me. I was like, just stay there and eat this.
Eat this.
And so like that, and then I got home, could not walk up the stairs. I was just dead entirely. But probably like in halfway into the second month, I was like, okay.
Okay. So after your first experience, you went home. What was your thought? Like, what was like did you only come back because Michael already paid for it?
100%. 100%. It was
But like, let's talk about this because this is kind of important. Do you think that we could have done something different, or was it more like maybe we just didn't ask? Like, hey, did you eat something? Like, we weren't as prepared for like what you because I've had a couple people and like their first class. Sometimes it doesn't go well because they haven't eaten, or like they don't. There's not like a preparation for it, but they don't really know what they're getting into. So
I had no idea what I was getting into. I'm just super competitive as a person.
Yeah.
I've always done sports. I've always done whatever I can because I grew up with three older brothers. So I'm always trying to like keep up with their pace. But like I had no idea what I was getting into.
So you like thought you didn't need like you were just like, oh, I'll just go like do this workout, and then it was like, oh crap, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, no, I got home and laid on the floor in the kitchen for a solid like half hour. And that was
Classic.
like,
And then
my-
you were like, okay, I got to go back
yeah, I gotta go back.
because I don't want them to think that I'm weak.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we get people to prepay, we can get them back
Yeah,
in the
just
gym.
get your spouse or your significant other, just get them to prepay it.
Okay. Hmm.
But I think
Interesting. That kind of started the slow trickle of, I would say, 13 Stripes employees. Because like I said, I think that was 2 years maybe after we opened. It took a little while because like obviously we were younger and we still support 13 Stripes, but we used to support 13 Stripes a lot. And so we were over there a lot, and then there was always like the classic conversation with the bartenders of
oh
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, we're gonna come work out, or
Yeah,
like, yeah, y'all come
come
join
work
us or
with us.
whatever, and like it just never happened. So
Yeah.
it did take Michael kind of, we'll say, breaking the seal.
Mhm.
And then so what not, maybe you can't talk for him, but what do you think he showed, or what was happening that kind of got everyone else to be like, oh, maybe I should go try that? Was it like he was talking about it,
Oh yeah.
or was it like there were results that people saw?
I
Like, what do
think
you?
it was- people notice him being more active, but he's always been a happy-go-lucky guy. Like he's always so positive all the time. But people notice him voicing that more
Okay.
and being more positive outlook and things. Because it was, I mean, you know more than anyone, it's like running a business is incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not active physically, stress takes a crazy toll on your body. So I think them seeing that with him after knowing him for so long, and then seeing him being active and doing CrossFit and doing that, it kind of changed the way he outputted his energy towards other people.
Gotcha. Okay. So it was like more of just a change in him. People
Mhm.
saw, and then they're like, oh, well, the only
Yeah.
thing he's done differently was walk into this
Yeah.
place. So maybe we should try that.
Hmm.
Cool. Okay. That's good. Well, I'm glad the experience of not necessarily your first experience, but I mean, I think that is kind of the classic trend, though, of like we always say the hardest part's walking in the door,
Yeah.
right? And we try to do a good job of like showing what happens in here, but you really don't know until you walk into an actual gym for a class and
Mhm.
try it. I mean, it's the old Greg Glassman saying of like, people are like, well, what about this? Or like, can you tell me this? Or can you? And it's just like, hey, are you free next week at like this time?
Mhm.
Cool, show up and I'll show you. Like that's really the only way. Like I don't think there's a way to convince people, like, or like tell them
Yeah.
what they're going to get into.
No, there's no way to describe what will happen. It is more of like everyone that I've invited and gotten to stay,
Yeah.
it's been that same experience of, hey, just come with me one class. If you don't like it, I'll never bug you about it again. And every time I've done that, I mean, Brenda, like she came in and she like could barely squat. She had just broken her ankle or something with her foot and everything. And now like she's like, I must go. She's like, I am getting so strong. And I was like, it's so great. She's like the strongest she's ever been in her life.
Awesome. Yeah, the whole like show up, you got to do it, but it's just like your experience of like you didn't know what you were getting into, but then once you got into it, then all of a sudden you became competitive. Like you didn't even know what you were doing
Yeah.
10
No.
minutes before the club, but then you're like, wait, I think I'm stronger than that person,
Yeah.
or I think I can keep up with that person. And I think that's just like the classic like innateness like inside of us of like well, I mean, not everyone's competitive, but like I feel like we naturally compete a little bit with each other.
I
Like,
think it's like for me, it's more instead of competing with others, because I don't really pay attention to everyone else's, but
no.
it's more of like I overestimate myself and expect more out of myself. So then I push myself to that bar that I've raised to be like, okay, I know I can do this. I can add another 15 pounds. Like, I
Yeah.
know I can do that. Will my form be great? Probably.
We just got to rein Amy back. We got to
Yeah.
rein her back sometimes. I know
Like,
that's where we want to be.
It's more of like I compete way more with myself than anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Which
more of like an unusual.
I feel like that's more the way it should be. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there is, we will all compete against each other, whether we are meaning to or not. I think it's kind of a natural thing that no one wants to be the last one picked or the last one to finish a workout or the last one to do anything. But I also think that like if you're looking at constantly trying to beat somebody else and you're not looking at what you've done or what you've gotten better at,
Mhm.
then it makes it kind of tough.
Yeah.
Because really like I get people all the time that are like, oh, that was so and so beat me, or like it didn't go as planned or whatever. And then I just like I'm just like, but do you realize like being a CrossFitter, like you are like one of the top fittest people like in this area.
Yeah.
Like now, you might not look like the fittest person or like, and like I know when people walk in the gym, they're probably not like, oh, Cam's the owner because he clearly looks the fittest here. Like, but there are things that like as a CrossFitter, like we no longer like are afraid of necessarily or like, you know, so it's like but internally you build that over time because oh, when I first started, I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Now I can do this. Or I was only at this weight and now I'm at this weight. Like you start like realizing these things are like you're developing and then like some of that starts to build that confidence, which
Yeah.
it sounds like for Michael started to spew outside of the gym into like his everyday life, which obviously made an impact on other people as
Mhm.
well, including yourself.
Yeah.
And then now you get to
Yeah.
share that with other people.
The kids and
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. I kind of, I mean, I would say you weren't the exact reason why we started a kids class,
I have the
but
most kids.
it was definitely a reason. So like, uh, what? Okay, so Michael started, then you started.
Mhm.
So what like in the house? How do you think the girls like kind of started seeing like what transition maybe happened or like did you notice things that they noticed? Or was it just like
I
them
think
being because they had to start coming to the
yeah.
gym once y'all both started doing it, they just
Yeah.
started coming and hanging out.
Yeah.
So
I think it was when I noticed the biggest thing I noticed was when on days that I didn't go to the gym, the girls would audibly be complaining like, "I can't believe we're not going to the gym today."
yeah,
Like, I'm tired. Like, I need a rest day. And they'd just be complaining the whole night, like, "Hey, we didn't get to go to the gym. We didn't get to go see everyone. We didn't get to go watch everyone." Because they love their favorite thing is to just watch the adults lift.
yeah,
Like, they love it. I mean, I love doing it, but they just love watching it. They're
yeah.
just like starstruck.
So like as a mom, how does that make you feel about like
Really good.
what?
I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
Especially because they're all girls. Like, that's always been my biggest concern is body image, like having them worry about their weight and like how skinny they are. Is like giving them example of you don't have to be skinny to be healthy. But I mean, like strong feels so good.
yeah,
Like I've been skinnier, but I've never been this strong and it's never felt this good.
yeah, yeah. So like them seeing that and being here, you feel like that like
Yeah.
has changed like as they grow, they have like a different mentality that maybe like some of us grew up with around like
I
health
hope
and
so.
fitness. Yeah.
Because I grew up with a mom that was very audible about, oh, that shirt's too tight, or, just not like hurtful remarks, but it is like, as a little girl, you're like, I got to think about those things now.
Yeah.
So with the girls seeing women that are strong and like, they wear their sports bras, they wear full long sleeve shirts, they wear everything, but the kids don't care about the clothes. They don't even notice it. And they care about like, whoa, she's doing a muscle up.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. How does she even do that? And so the kids are, the girls are trying to do that. And it's like, calm down.
Yeah.
You'll get there, but let's just figure out the deadlift first.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's cool. And I like obviously I think it's one of the things which we talked about when we brought you on to help with manage is like I want to do these other things. And the kids class was one of those like I think for a long time that was like we had members with kids and it was like we want to do it in our old space that it was just like it wasn't feasible with
Yeah.
what we had. But like to see and hear that like they obviously they like to come and terrorize the gym and watch people but the fact that like they're also taking it in
Yeah.
of like okay these are goals that like I eventually want to do I think is also really cool and obviously they're in the kids class do you feel like that like has changed them as like how they view maybe
I think so.
athleticism or like like what they do outside of
I think it's brought out different things in each of them. Like my oldest, Evelyn, she's very timid, very relaxed. But when she's at the gym, she's like super adventurous, like willing to try anything, which normally she's like, I'm going to collect bugs and that's it.
yeah
And then Zoe is somehow more competitive now, but we've come to realize that her game that she's going to have to struggle with is her mind because everything is like as soon as it gets difficult she's just like lost it laying on the floor. I don't want to do it anymore. It's like, well, suck it up, get up.
come on
You got
let's go.
five more rounds of stuff. Let's go. So I think it's kind of bringing out the different qualities in their
It's almost like
lack of
challenging
qualities,
them
like, yeah.
or opening them up
Yeah.
some
Oh, for
challenges
sure.
yeah That's cool.
It's bringing new things to light for sure. That normally they like, when would those things come up? Like,
Yeah.
when are kids pushed to a point where they got to choose to do something that's difficult?
Right. Well, I think one of the biggest things that, like, personally, when we started the kids class, that I hope that we instill in them is that, like, the gym can be fun and it's a place that they want.
Mm,
Like, we didn't get to go to the gym. Like,
yeah.
they want to go to the gym, right? And I think that if we can get that into more even adults, but like as kids, it's like, okay, well, hopefully that sets them up for life to like be healthy or be moving. Like they see that as like a thing now. So it's like, okay, if we can just continue that, then like as they grow up. Cause I know like for me, I didn't start going to the gym until like I had to for sports,
Mm,
like baseball or basketball. I was like, okay, now you have to go work out before practice tonight. And then that was like, well, now I have to do this because I'm on the team. And it wasn't even necessarily fun. You know, it was just like this like thing I had to do. Right.
mm,
And then I think like in college, it was like, well, might as well keep working out because if I don't, then I'm gonna get fat from all this drinking. You know, but that's where I found CrossFit was luckily at that stage where like I kind of felt like I had to do it.
mhm.
And then the competitive and the fun of going to the gym started becoming a thing. And then I was like, oh wait, this could be what working out is, you know?
Yeah.
So I think as a young kid, if we can get that in people, like then it's not like um the scary or this have to do thing like
Yeah.
on their list of like it's not a chore.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
think
like
a lot of
they
people
just
get
expect you.
intimidated by it, especially intimidated by something new,
Yeah.
different, but like they get intimidated by lifting weights. Like I
Sure.
know, like I'm trying to get my mom and dad convinced to do the 55, the ageless,
Yeah.
and God forbid they wake up early, but the biggest thing that they're like, I can't lift weight like that.
Yeah.
Like I can't lift the weight that you lift. I was like, they're not lifting like
Yeah. It's
they're
like if
they're
these
doing
kids
like
can do
20,
it, like
like
yeah.
they're doing squats, the things that are important that you need to do to stay active in your 60s. Like, but they are like that's the biggest thing that's intimidating to them is lifting weight.
Yeah. You so let's say like for that situation, is there something that like do you just think you just have to keep asking, or is there like what do you think could help a family member get another family member to come into the gym? Or do you think it's just keep doing what you're doing and then
I
hopefully
think
they
it's just setting the example.
yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it
Mm,
because like I've got a lot of family. So it's like them seeing that we're active. The girls are rarely ever sick.
yeah.
Like they're super strong for children.
Yeah.
But I think like for my parents and brothers, it's like them seeing the example of, it's not just like a quick fix. You can't just decide one day to go and be done with it. It's like it takes a time and it's a process to be able to stick with something
Yeah.
and it's more of a lifestyle. And I think just setting that example is probably the only way to long term get them around that bend to join in.
Yeah. I have this my family, a
Mm,
lot of them are the same way. It's funny. I own a CrossFit gym and I help people all day, but it's like my family won't. Like
yeah.
none of my family comes in here. I used to have Corey and Lauren, and they're probably the fittest, healthiest people, and they probably still move. But like the rest of my family, it's like we don't live close enough, or we don't do that. And it's like you don't you don't do healthy, like you know what I mean? Like it's like what do you mean you don't do
That's
that?
a good
Like
question. You don't do
it's
healthy?
hard to like what do you like? I had a question with that. Like, do you think that there's like this idea with older people, especially that like they can't start? Like they think that they're like too far past like it's not worth it at this point? Do you think
Hmm.
they have that like mindset? Or do you think it's more just like they have their routine and they just rather not put something else in their routine?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think it's more towards the routine because they don't like change so much.
Yeah.
Like they're once you get past like your 50s, you're just like, I've lived this long. What's the point? I've made it this far without that. I'm good. I've got my things. I'll walk or maybe do something. But it's like,
Mm,
I think that's probably the biggest
so you
part of
just
it.
want to shake them back, but how long do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Like, how long do you want to do this for?
Yeah. And that's what, like, I've told my parents flat out was like, it would be great if you'd be around when the girls graduate high school. Like,
Yeah.
you got to do something because whatever you're doing is not working.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes that hard conversation, but
Yeah.
sometimes that hard
Yeah.
conversation doesn't work.
I'd agree with that for sure. Um, yeah. I do have another question, unless you had anything on your list of questions. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I just looked at Nate. He hasn't talked. It's okay. We're doing an interview. So I do want to ask you what. So last summer, it was when you approached me and you're like, "Hey, I
Mhm.
want to help." Like what did you see, or what made you be like, you know what, I really want to step in and help out in this business? And like, I guess what future vision of that do you see? Or like, did you kind of have an idea, or were you just kind of like, oh, I'd like to help out and we'll see where it goes?
Oh, man, that was
Let's
hard.
start with
Okay.
what made you be like, I'm gonna grab Cam and tell him this because I believe in this business.
Yeah.
Like, but why?
So Michael stepped away from the brewery and we had our like dream job conversation. Like, if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? And Michael, of course, brewing beer, he loves beer. I mean, drinks a little bit. He's not crazy, but he just loves the process, loves the things. But for me, it was like, if Cam would let me, I could build a CrossFit empire. Like, I love helping businesses. I love building community. I love coming to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, my three favorite things. I could do this. I could take over the world.
So
Like,
like it just you got that, not that you don't like the gym, but like you just had that good of an experience over time that you're like, that this is the place that like I think I want to be and like do
yeah,
that. That's cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Like it,
Did you okay? So now let's talk about the second part of the question. The CrossFit Empire. What does that look like in Amy's head? Because I mean, I don't have, and I don't know if this is a terrible way to run a business, but it's like we don't really have like a 5 year, 10 year. Like I don't know, is that 2 locations? Is that 5 locations? Is that one
don't have that.
really big location?
Yeah.
Like we don't have that written down anywhere. I mean, I do
No.
want to grow the gym, like which we've talked about, but like in your head, what does CrossFit Taylor's Greenville or upstate Empire look like?
South Carolina.
Okay. All right.
And I think it's like the satellite branches. Just like my brain like instantly goes to like the mega churches that of like the 90s. So you have like the one mega station and then you have all these off branches with all their different coaches. But I think at the time that was my like, we could open like 10 of these
Yeah. Do you think
and
we still
easily.
can?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I do too. I think so. What? But like now that you know more about the business of
Yeah.
CrossFit, do you think it's like harder or easier, or like do you think there's just different challenges to doing it than what you maybe originally thought? Like because you know a lot more of like the
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff and kind of how
Yeah.
things work.
I think the biggest thing has been getting to know your brain
Okay.
to be able to replicate it with things. I think that's been the biggest challenge for me to like be like to be able to come up with a situation and be like, what would Cam do in this situation? Because then I'm more of my personality is like, let's just get shit done. Sorry, I don't know if we can
No,
curse,
yeah, we can cuss. That's
but
fine. And I think only adults listen. I think we'll be all right. I've probably cussed
like,
multiple
yeah.
times.
But it's like I'm I like to get stuff done.
Yeah.
I don't like to be like, oh, let's wait and let's figure out. And I mean, you know this by now. It's
Yeah.
like, will you come up with an idea and like 10 minutes later, I send you 20
You're
different
like, here's the
things.
final product. I'm like, no,
Calm
that's
down,
not it.
calm down. But it's like, that's just how my brain works. And that's where I thrive and I love being. So, like, anytime I can come up with a situation or we have an instance of a problem or some obstacle, it's like, okay, I'm going to guess how Cam is going to handle this. And then I'm going to ask him. And then I rearrange
So
the puzzle piece,
you're
the
building a
jigsaw.
bank of camisms.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you think about CrossFit Taylors is you and Tay. Like, it's your heart, sweat, soul that's been put into this to create the community, create all these things.
Yeah.
It's not going to work without you guys in it because you're the hub.
Right.
So if I can replicate that and create duplicates,
Yeah.
like that's the only way the empire will succeed.
So I like where we're going. So if we were, yep.
Oh,
You're
question?
good.
Question?
Yeah, question. So, real quick on that point. So we have seen CrossFit gyms like CrossFit Invictus.
Yeah.
Kind of, there's one in Seattle, there's one in California, I think
Mhm.
there's one in New York. We have CrossFit Mayhem, where it's not like there's a mayhem, but they're
Mhm.
mayhem affiliates.
Yeah.
The con or the I guess the thing that's similar to both is they've had CrossFit Games teams and members. How do you think you build the empire if like we don't have a CrossFit Games team or we have a semifinalist,
Yeah.
but we don't have like a CrossFit Games athlete that draws people in? How do you think we fix
I
that?
think that, like, from my point of view, I kind of love that we don't have a games athlete because our focus is health and getting people in that would normally not be active, like getting them in here to be active and to get healthy.
Yeah.
So I think it's a different mindset in that aspect of like, if we want to create a gym that's like, let's pump out some games athletes, like that would be a lot different, I feel like, than what CrossFit Taylors does.
Yeah. So I guess more along the line of Nate's notoriety, which I'm just thinking like or not Nate's question is the notoriety part of opening more gyms. Like, okay, how do we convince somebody in, let's say, Charlotte that
Mm,
CrossFit Taylors is the place that they should go? Because like I think what has happened is like, oh, Invictus produced these people. That's a name that we know.
okay.
So now I'm okay with walking or I want to go to this gym because I know that they've kind of produced this. So it's like, okay, how do we encapsulate what happens here and say like, hey, yeah, there are other CrossFit gyms in this area, but this is what we do and this is how we
Mm,
do it and this is why we're going to be the better one. Like, and I think the hard part with this situation as well is like, I do think when it comes to community, like you said, it is me and Tay and like our ideas or thoughts and like almost like my presence like
mhm.
at the gym, but it's like I can't be everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how do we produce that? I guess. I have some thoughts, but I want to hear yours. So like do you like I guess do you are you more focused on like the business side of it of like okay once this is like here's the things that we do at CrossFit Taylors so these same processes would kind of be the same as far as like
There's always like the standard operating procedures in a business, and those would essentially, if per se we're opening a second gym, like those would be in place.
yeah
But I think the biggest thing that would bring people would be the community factor because you can walk into a lot of different gyms and feel alone really quick.
yeah
And CrossFit Taylors is not like that at all. Like people, I've seen it. I mean, we had Beth come in,
yeah
a new, I'm not sure if she's a new member, but she like drop in
yeah
and like everyone went out of their way to say hello to her.
yeah
And so I think like just witnessing that and seeing that it's not just like we can make community Instagram reels and say all of those, but it's like when you walk in the door, at least five people are going to walk up and be like, "Hey, I'm Amy. How are you doing?
yeah
Are you new?
yeah
What class do you go to?" So
right
it's like I think that is something that can be discounted because people don't really see it. There's no way to like I have a hard time trying to make community reels and
yeah
make them feel authentic and not like showboaty,
right
if that makes sense.
yeah
But
because
it's
it's
like,
organic like
yeah,
we don't like fake it
yeah.
you know what I mean
But like
I
the
feel
one
like we
I
don't
did
fake
the
it
ascension today, I was like,
yeah
I made that. I was like, I was blown away. Just like everyone was helping each other on Monday.
yeah
I was like, I'm gonna make that because that's really impressive to me.
yeah yeah I think we would have to not do like an internship, but like we have coaches here, and it's almost like they
Mhm.
like a piece of our staff would need to leave, I think, leave and be the kind of presence, the lead of because they've been here and done this and understood how this
Mhm.
works. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna not that they can exactly replicate it, but they understand like the community is the big part, like
Yeah.
saying hi and doing these things. And it's just like that's part of I think what we if we were gonna open up multiple locations, like that would be the thing because it's like if we didn't have that and we just hired some random person like hey you're gonna be CrossFit Taylor's number 2 location,
Mm.
and then we just like sent them a bunch of things of how to do it. Like I don't know if that personality necessarily would
Yeah.
represent exactly what we do here.
It's like the first thing is like their heart is in it.
Yeah,
Because all of our coaches here like they're you can tell they care about the people, they care about the movements and what everyone's doing, but I it is hard to replicate that.
yeah, interesting. Good question, Nate. Because that is I do see that with like now that I'm thinking about like the places that have multiple locations, like it usually is behind like they have this notoriety
Yeah.
because of the high levelness of like the athletes they've produced versus like just being a community gym. Um, so interesting.
Mhm.
Cool. thought I had another question earlier, but I think I might have forgotten it, or we might have answered it. I think Nate's got another one.
Okay, I want to go back to the conversation of you being a mom and your kids seeing that and everything.
Mhm.
How has it impacted just your life as a mom? Like being able to lift more weights, help play with your kids, things like that. How's that?
Oh,
How's
like day to day?
yeah impacted your day to day as like
I mean,
life, mom?
I can throw them across the room now, which is super handy. Be like, get in bed, and I can throw them in bed, literally. But it is really good because they're running around, but they see that. I think they see me lifting and they do me doing all these crazy things in here, and I think it's kind of a I hope it is more of like an encouragement for them as future women, as little girls of like, I can do crazy things and do them and be really strong. Like, I'm not stuck. Like, I don't have to just do one thing or I'm having to do. I mean, Evelyn wants to be a scientist, but she loves lifting and she loves her pull-ups. Like she just got up finished with PT with Ryan at Onward, and he first appointment was like, "Okay, what have you noticed that like you can't do anymore because you broke your elbow?" She's like, "I can't do push-ups." And
Like out of all the things a kid could say.
Ryan was just like, "Okay, okay, well let's work on your push-ups." Like, so it's really interesting how much it has like infiltrated their lives. As I mean, my oldest, she's only 11, so it's like,
Yeah, like she's worried about the gym, not
yeah,
about like playing with like I can't
yeah,
play tag anymore or
all
something
the
like
yeah,
that.
it's like all the girls in her class are worried about makeup and boys and all this stuff, and she's over here like, I need to get my push-ups better. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty great.
Do you think that like life around the house has changed because like they feel like they can help out more, or you
Oh
think you
yeah,
can make them help out more? Like, I know you're strong enough to do this. Can you go help
oh
with
yeah,
this and things like that? Like, do you think
yeah,
that's kind of like changed everything as well?
yeah. I think it's given them more like ownership of things. Like we just bought a new house. Like they are being like they're able to take ownership of responsibilities around the house, not just like mopping and stuff like that, but like Zoe and Evelyn were out there lifting 40-pound bags of dirt and doing landscaping with us, and
Yeah.
like they were carrying them around the yard and cutting the bags open and doing like they're out there doing it all, and all the neighbors like they're all just like like huh.
Like they're having fun. Essentially,
It's like, what?
they see it as a workout.
It's like we're not paying them or forcing them to do this. Like they are excited to do this because they can lift bags of stuff and move them around the yard. Like
Yeah.
so, I think they're super excited, and it's encouraging for me to see as a mom of when like little girls is like they will have here they have such good influences in their life, not just me but like Sabri and everyone that like Katie, they all come in here and the girls just are like doe-eyed and just like
Yeah. I think I can see it, and obviously we just had a little girl as well, and it's something that I hope she goes through the same process and learns these things. And I feel like it'll be hard as like I don't want to force it on her just because I own a CrossFit gym.
mhm,
So it's like going to be kind of finding that balance, almost like the dad that played football and wants his kid to play football, and like
yeah,
it's like okay, it can go well and it might not go well, right? And it's the same thing with a CrossFit gym, but like I think the biggest thing that I see with your girls is like I think as they grow up, they're going to be not that they have to be independent, but they can be independent.
yeah,
Like they're not going to have to depend on some guy to help them move some like furniture, like when they move into college or something.
yeah,
Like they're gonna be like, no, I can pick that up and like do it. Like I mean, we get deliveries to the house sometimes because we've been doing some remodeling, and like the delivery guys are like old and like just whatever. And then like this is before Taylor was pregnant, but even when she was like early pregnant, like they would come drop stuff off and like she would be at home or whatever and like just be like, this is taking forever, and start like grabbing by, and they're like, no, 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 don't hurt yourself. And she's like, shut up, like where do you want, like let's put these things over here, or like we'll go somewhere and like
yeah,
me and Taylor, like something needs to be moved, and I'll be like, Tay, grab that in, and our parents are like, no, like I'll help, and I'm like,
mhm,
no, she's stronger than you, get out of the way, like
get out of the
trust me,
way,
like she
yeah,
can help,
yeah,
and I think that I see that in your girls as like they're gonna get older, and like I think they're gonna have that mentality of like
oh yeah,
they're not like a guy doesn't have to do it. Like I'm strong enough, and like and to see that at this age of like they're like okay with that and they want to do that, I think it's
mhm,
really cool.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah, they're definitely like
yeah,
that.
I hope that yeah, yeah, I can see it for sure. It's been fun. I'll say it's been fun, like giving them a hard time, but also it's been fun seeing them grow
Yeah,
and like see them want to come in the gym and like teach them things and kind of build some of that. Like give them a hard time here and there, but like they're also like learning and understanding that. So
Yeah, they're psyched about the kids comp.
Yeah,
Like,
I can tell.
oh my gosh. I made them each team t-shirts and they're
Oh,
just
boy.
like they're so excited.
That's awesome.
I
So,
didn't get asked to be anyone's partner
yeah.
though.
I haven't either, which I was kind of surprised. Like they've been asking some of the other coaches, and I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut because like I don't want to get wrapped into this. But if I did get asked, I'd definitely do it.
Yeah.
But, that's
Mhm.
awesome. Cool. Do we have any other questions before we wrap things up? Yeah.
Mm.
Do you have anything you want to add on as far as your experience here at CrossFit Taylors, or um, just anything you want to talk about? Might be your only chance to ever be on a podcast. What do you got?
Yeah, I was promised a conversation about getting out of your head.
Oh, about weightlifting?
Mhm.
Um, stop thinking and just do. uh,
Podcast ever.
I mean, I will say I had an experience with back squats where like 225 was just that sticking number for me for a long time. And the way I ended up breaking it, because I got to the point where I was lifting so much that I could just see the weight on the bar and it would just immediately freeze my brain up.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, that's a 45, that's a 25, that's a 10, that's 225. And then like I'd be like, oh, this is that weight, right? And I vividly remember being like, I'm gonna squat based off of feel today. And so I randomly would put like 15, 10, a 5 pound change plate. Like I used weights that would just like make someone mad that like normally looks at weightlifting. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it literally looked stupid. Like
Yeah.
there were 2.5s thrown in there. So I couldn't, like, I knew it was getting heavier,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you the exact number.
What the weight was.
Right. And that way, as I was approaching the bar to do the squat, it was just like, okay, the last one felt good. It was heavy, but like it was still fine.
Hmm.
And so I just kept doing that. And I had someone spotting me, but like, and I broke to like 240. Like it was like this jump of just like the mental side of it
Mm.
was just like it was stopping me from doing something because like it could feel good, but mentally it's like, oh, this is the number I always fail at or something
Yeah.
like that. And so that's one way to do it. Not saying you can do that every time because like you don't want to make a bar wonky if you're cleaning or snatching or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, if it's even, it should go well. But like that was a big thing for me. And then once I broke it, then that number was no longer. It was like, oh, okay, now I can do that, right?
Mm.
So like that's one way to do it. Another way is literally just grind like 80 and 90% lifts until you can do them for like a double or a triple. And then it's like, okay, if I can do 90% for 3, then like that should give you the confidence that like your 1 rep max is no longer your 1 rep max.
Yeah.
I do think lifting sometimes can be, not that we can, I mean, you can probably test too often, but sometimes we get caught up in this. Like, it's been a month or two, it's been 2 months, whatever. And like, I got to break that number again. And it's like, okay, like stop getting close to that 1 rep number and just work on these like just before the 1 reps where we still have good form and it's hard, and then let's build here. And then if I can really build confidence there where like that's no longer a struggle, then I know the next time I'm going to test, it'll be heavier. But I think too, where you're at in your journey with CrossFit and lifting in general is like you had that a lot of that beginner like
Hmm.
incline. And like everyone, when they first start doing something, especially in the gym, like you're learning things and it's technique or it's mobility and it's like this other stuff, but it's like we're finally going to hit some of these walls.
Yeah.
And it's going to take time. Like there's not like a trick or a secret, or like your brain is very powerful and it is trying to stop you from hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Like that is what it is a lot of times. Is like, hey, yeah, I know you want to do more weight, but like I'm trying to tell you to be safe and like this might not go well. And so that's why we need to work at some of those lighter percentages or work on some like different drills that put you in different positions without having to like pull the weight and land on it. So like a bottom up squat, for
Yeah.
instance, like, okay, I can work on my strength out of the bottom without having to have weight crash on me. Right. And so there's things like that like when we hit those walls, it's like, okay, we have to take a step back and like think about what we need to work on so that we can then, when we test this again down the road, we can increase that number. So sometimes I would say it's okay, is it a mental, I need to visually change what I'm doing because I see it and it's stopping me?
Hmm.
Or is it like I've just been working at this long enough and I'm finally hit this wall and now there's some other stuff I need to put into it in order for this thing to then take the next jump.
Yeah.
Um and so I think when it comes to weightlifting, that can be it. But as far as like if there's just a lift or a day, like sometimes it literally is just you're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Like go put your hands on the bar and do it. And if it doesn't go well, take some weight off. Like, I think one of the biggest things that I have people do when I see them fail a lift that I'm pretty sure they can get, hey, go back down to a weight that you hit a good rep at. Okay, now let's add what build back up. Don't just immediately jump back, but like, okay, now like turn your brain off. You know you did that, and let's just like do something. Or I know Tay for a while like would walk away, and I would just like put some weight on the bar, and like it was like a
Sneaky.
conversation, not like on purpose, like not sneaky. Like it was just like she didn't want to see what was going on,
Okay.
so that she could do the whole feel by thing, right? So that way, because if she knew the numbers, like some people would be like, "Don't tell me,"
Yeah.
you know, like because they're luckily they can't look at the bar and know what's on the bar,
Yeah.
but they're like, "Oh, it's feeling good." Like, don't tell me what's on there, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, "Well, what's your PR?" Because like I kind of need to know, like,
Yeah.
should you keep adding weight or not? And then they're kind of like, "I think I'm getting close, but like 105," and it's like, "All right, um, let's put some more weight on." But like, are you at 105? And it's like, let's put some more weight on because I want
Yeah.
you to break this, or is it because you're not close? Like, there's things like that. So like, those conversations get a little tricky as a coach because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, how do I play this off of like they've already PR'd, or they're about to PR, or they're not even close to PR?
Yeah.
And I just want them to keep their confidence, right? Of feel the bar, don't let the weight intimidate you. So
Yeah.
those are, I guess, my three biggest things. One is visually change up what you're doing if it's a math thing and you already know what it is. um Two is, what did I say? You have to work on like you're gonna hit a wall.
Yeah.
And then the third one is like sometimes you just need to like stop and think, like just do
Do it.
just pull the bar, do the
Yeah.
thing. And sometimes you just need a little competition setting,
Mm.
you know. I think that works for some people. Like you just need that extra adrenaline and that those people around, and you'll see people PR at a competition or in the open, and then now they're like, oh, and then they start training and they can hit that
Mhm.
number all day now, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I just needed that spike past, and then you realize you have the confidence in your body to do that other number. So there you go. Did that answer your question? Kind of.
I mean, you gave me answers.
And I'll give you one last one.
Just
Sometimes
the
the day is
magical
not the
answer.
day if you're having that many
Yeah.
frustrations, and just accept that that's where you're at for the day and walk away and be okay with the number you hit.
Yeah.
Right? I think too many people get caught up in like, this is the number I was supposed to do today, or that I planned on doing, or whatever. And if you're really planning on doing this for a long time, like not every day is going to line up to be your day, especially when it comes
Yeah.
to lifting. So like if you're having one of those days, it's okay to like back it down, still hit the reps or something to make sure that you get some movement in, and then just be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna leave it for next time. Because I tell people this all the time. It's like people that want to lose weight. I just want to lose weight. I want to lose more weight. It's like if you keep losing weight, you're gonna be dead. Like
Mhm.
at some point you can't. But the same thing goes for lifting. Well, why didn't I PR? Well, it's like, well, I guess eventually you're just gonna snatch 1,000 pounds if you just think you can just always add more weight every time you snatch. You know what I mean? Like there are like limits to this
Yeah.
stuff, you know. So it's like it's okay not to PR every time you touch a
Yeah.
barbell or like hit 100% or 90%, especially if you've been focusing on something else. But like if we're at least close, hey, that fitness is still there for this movement or this thing, and maybe I've increased somewhere else. So it's okay for this to be a little frustrating or fluctuate a little bit,
Mhm.
unless I've specifically been training for it to get better. And then we need to look at what was that training like. But really, I think in the grand scheme of CrossFit, people can't accept when they're having a bad day all the time. And it really frustrates them. Instead of just like, hey,
Yeah.
I didn't have the best night of sleep. I didn't have whatever. Today's not my day. That's okay. And just like take that and move on with your day and try not to let it like ruin your day.
Yeah.
Right.
That took a long time for me to be able to do.
Yeah. Well, there's your main answer. Because really, like, I mean, outside of a competition coming
Yeah.
up or something, like, I think people like, oh, I have to hit this number, and it's like,
Yeah.
why? Like, is there something in a month or 6 months or a year that you like
Yeah.
you says you have to do this? Like, no, okay, so then hit it in 6 months or like, yeah, like down the road, like leave a little bit because eventually you'll have that day. But then guess what? When you hit that number, your immediate first thought is, what's the next number?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's
And like,
immediately.
and so it's like, okay, like, why are we so worried about hitting this number today? Because it'll come, and then the next number will come, and the next. It's just like accept that as part of the journey. And if you can just like when you're having those frustrating days, like put yourself away, take the deep breath, and just like, okay, I've tried it 2 or 3 times. Today's not the day. That's fine.
Yeah.
And walk away.
I think it's like as someone that is on staff or whatever, being audible with that too.
Yeah.
Because people will ask me like, "Oh, are you going to PR today?" I was like, "No, I'm literally here to move my body today. Like, I'm not going to hurt myself. I slept like crap last night. I know my limits. I got to
Yeah.
I gotta pace myself.
And it's okay to say yes
Yeah.
too sometimes. Like, yeah, I had a
Yeah.
great night. I feel great. I'm ready,
Yeah.
amped up, and it might not happen. But if you being audible about it too, I mean, that's the whole thing about a lot of things is like if you say it,
Mhm.
then it becomes more like acceptable even for
Yeah.
yourself. Like
Yeah.
if I tell somebody I'm not PRing today because I had a bad night, now it might hold me back more instead of getting caught up in everyone else PRing. It
Yeah.
may be like I'm gonna be dumb and try this, you
Yeah.
know. So it's like you put it out there to set an example, but then also keep yourself tamed in
Yeah.
for the day of how you're feeling. So I think that's pretty cool.
Mm.
Sweet. Well, I say we maybe end on that one and we'll let
Yeah.
Nate do his closing remarks because he's so good at them.
All right, everyone. That was another episode of Off the Rails hosted by Trolley Train. Hope you enjoyed kind of the special guest episode. I think we can do a lot more of these in the future because this was a really good conversation from my point of view, just being able to listen. But with that said, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like button, and leave us a comment for any questions or if you want to be on the next episode of Off the Rails. We'll see everyone in the next episode.